Okay, everybody, welcome to week number 4 of Finding a Better Job, a self-reliance class for LinkedIn professionals and students. And something I mentioned right before we started recording was that this is a little bit of a shorter presentation this week, but it's really to get you thinking in terms of how to grow professionally, and also some ways to build upon some of the things that you're working on with the week 3 and week 4 homework assignment, because that week 3 homework assignment that I sent out last week is actually a 2-week project. And so if you haven't already started on that one, please reach out and ask how you can do that. Week 4 is always a time when I like to review some of the things that we've discussed. So, really we've focused on your first priority needs to be to become self-reliant and take care of yourself and your family. And very honestly, it's not going to be anyone else's first priority. So you need to take ownership of that. With that being said, you need to take ownership of your job and become really good at what you do, or take ownership of your lack of a job if you don't have one, and find a job or find a better job. You need to avoid making the mistakes of other people, learn from history, and become a lifelong learner. And learn the high return on investment skills that pay you well. Don't spend your time doing many jobs that pay very little. And this week, we're going to talk about collaboration, and specifically what I call the keys to collaboration. So in week number 4 of Education for Better Work, our previous self-reliance class, you had the LinkedIn networking workshop. And this was meant to get your profile in the right shape to collaborate online on the LinkedIn platform. If you remember, this was not really optional. It was a requirement of successfully completing the Education for Better Work course. And so if you haven't had time to do that assignment, please do so. And if you have, you're ready to collaborate. If for any reason that you didn't finish Education for Better Work, or maybe you're joining us for Finding a Better Job and you need access to that LinkedIn networking workshop, in which we talked about, kind of polishing and really transforming our LinkedIn profile, then you can reach out to me directly and I can get you that information. But this is the this is the YouTube video that I had shared in that workshop. And this is the exact title of the YouTube video, in which you can go step by step and make the necessary changes to your LinkedIn profile to get it in tip-top shape. So, collaboration. Simply put, collaboration is what professionals do. They work on projects, programs, and portfolios. Sometimes these are long-term collaborations, and others are short collaborations. But the point is that professionals progress in their careers by doing exceptional work, and they are recognized for the work that they do. Furthermore, they become highly skilled at what they do, and they are recognized for their qualifications, not based on their education or credentials, but on what they can produce with their skill set. So you probably remember, again, really making a lot of throwbacks and references to Education for Better Work, but you probably remember, if you took that class, that you should think of yourself as a business, because business owners think differently than employees. And as a business, you must build infrastructure, develop skills, and stay top of mind. And collaboration actually does all three. As we collaborate, we are building an infrastructure in the sense that we are building our personal portfolio. We also build our professional network by working with others who are experts in their field. And we develop our skills and test them in real life applications. And when we are successful in our collaboration, we remain top of mind because we often are called upon again for our expertise in future collaborations. At the end of a collaboration, we put our names on a finished product. At first, the finished product speaks to our talents and abilities and overall expertise in our field. And this is just how businesses are built, on incredible products and services that they offer. But after time, our names become synonymous with the quality of our work. For example, brand names like Apple or Microsoft or Google. And so this is what we mean when we talk about personal branding. Our names become synonymous with the quality of our work. And something that you can do when you collaborate with others is you enter into that professional sphere where you are able to gain influence over other people by putting in the work. You can also learn, right? We talk about becoming a lifelong learner. And without a doubt, one of the best ways to learn is to work in the real world, applying what you know, and also seeing how other people work. Okay. Now, over these 2 weeks, week 3 and week 4 of this class, you are doing a skill audit. And you started that last week with the assignment. And so this week's homework is to continue that training module, the high return on investment skill audit found in the class Google Drive document, okay, or Google Drive folder, rather. But in that skill audit, we also had a tactical activity in which you were to kind of introduce yourself to your LinkedIn network. And I haven't seen any of those come through as an assignment yet. I know week 2 was actually a pretty busy week for that assignment, so some people haven't gotten to this one yet. But as soon as you have your LinkedIn profile in that tip-top shape that we discussed, you're ready to collaborate. The best way to begin collaborating with others is to make that introductory LinkedIn post to tell people what you're about, what you do, and then you go from there. You follow the steps that are found in the tactical activity for week 3, and then continue working on the skill audit throughout week 4. And then in week 5, we can start putting some of these things to the test. We can actually start applying some of these things. But I can't stress how important it is that you do make sure that your LinkedIn profile is in that polished state, and that way you can have the best opportunity to start collaborating and networking and things like that. Another thing is, how does this all tie into finding a better job or finding a job in general? Well, the best way to do that, again, staying top of mind, building out an infrastructure, a personal and professional network. Once you start working with people, you find those opportunities, and they may not come immediately, but they do come over time. And so this is a long-term, game, if you will, to build yourself professionally. And then, of course, you should be putting in that time daily to apply to jobs and network with people and things like that. So that concludes our 4th week presentation, Keys to Collaboration. Next week, we're going to talk about staying competitive in this job market. And then we talked about it at the very beginning of our class today, but some people have joined us in that interim time. And at the end of each of these presentations, I just remind you of your first priority, that priority that you need to keep at the top of your mind, which is becoming self-reliant and caring for yourself and your family. And some of the ways that we do that at the Grounded Leader Academy is, of course, we run these self-reliance classes, but we also spend time coaching professionals on skills that relate to leadership and business management so that they can provide more value to their employer, thus becoming self-reliant, making a greater impact where they are, breaking out to new leadership roles if they have that opportunity, ultimately earning more compensation and taking care of their family and themselves.